I gave a note to the doctor.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? All right, so we're good with those. You want to make a motion for me?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I will second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Good deal. Thank you. Okay, so on the financial side, we're still, the Shade Tree Commission's budget, we still have $18,000, which is good coming into the fall because we're going to do some trees. Our grant balances are looking good. We'll talk about our responses on those, but I think we're still in great shape on those too. So before I get into the news, Scott, do you need to go? Do you want to come first?
No, actually,
You want to just hand?
just follow whatever you want to do today.
Okay. All right. So under new business, we have fall planning, West Side, Sandusky, and Catherine. That's the what Sarah and Laura are going to talk about. So who would like to talk first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So Zane has given us really good news. The West Side has 66 yeses, and Sandusky Street has 11 yeses so far.
And that's Catherine Street.
No.
That's the West Side and then Sandusky Street.
Catherine has not gone out yet.
Yeah, Catherine hasn't gone out. That's
Okay.
West High Street to the river, railroad tracks to the river,
Okay, good.
to the old.
Yeah, because there was a few of those I took out last year that hopefully replaced.
That's good. When you said how many we're going to get, I said 35.
I know.
So-
I know. I'm glad you were wrong.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Then we have a whole other month we're gonna run that.
Okay.
Let responses come in. We'll go to the first week in October, so hopefully there'll be a good bit more.
And the 11 on Sandusky, I told you I thought we'd get 30. So we're a little low on that.
Well, it's early still.
It's still early. We have faith in the folks on Sandusky.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's the west side of Sandusky.
West side of
Yes.
Sandusky. Okay. So with that in mind, Quentin, is there anything, Zane, anything you need to add with those? You're happy?
Be happy.
We're happy?
And he said those went out. Last month we had talked about them going out, and so they hadn't gone out yet. So it's been 3 weeks maybe that since we sent those, and so we've got good responses so far. I'd say.
Very
I
good.
expect to not get a lot back, but of the ones we've gotten back, plenty of good responses.
So we're going to accept the responses until October, and then we're going to start going out and flagging and walking the neighborhood and figuring it out. Okay, good deal. All right, I like
I guess
that.
I do have something to add. With the responses we are getting, and our budget's only 18, we will likely push till next year for some of these.
The Shade Tree Commission, ours is 18.
Yep.
These are TCP and grant.
So we will have enough, do you think?
Oh, yeah. I think we'll do just fine with
Okay,
it.
perfect.
We'll have room for more.
Good.
We can do more.
Because these are about, what did I say, 23 for what we have so far.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I like it.
I'll spend your money.
We want to spend the money, yes. Let's plant trees. Okay, so then TCP, where are you with that one?
So the list as it stands currently seems to have about 35 people requesting, however, some are requesting more. I've started contacting the first section of them, the older ones who didn't get trees last year, so I'm making appointments now to meet them and put flags in and hear their thoughts, and then I'll meet Brian to go over the specifics. But so it seems like 35 parties, but I'm guessing at least 60 trees. So I think I will exhaust the 20,000 that I have.
Yeah, 60 is usually where if we need to go over, we can do that.
So
We see a problem with that?
I have put in a few for individuals, and most have requested more than one tree.
well,
One of the ones I have put in.
that's the thing. From what I can see, there are a few that say more than one, and then there's some that it's not clear. So I'm assuming I'll have a few multiples. So, did you put the ones in August?
I have not.
Or-
I'm not
okay.
sure.
I like it. That's a good response.
We have about 7 or 8 that are holdovers from last year's request that didn't get it, and then the rest for this year. So
we'll do everything we can to make them all happy. And then, I've been flagging and receiving calls, and maybe you guys have too, about people saying their trees are looking like they're dying, they're looking dead. You know, Judy's been getting calls. With as dry as it's been, with the trees are pulling back, they're dropping their leaves and pulling their moisture back into the tree. So they'll look like they're dying, but they aren't. That's the first thing everybody says.
I calls people, I'm raking leaves up. I go, well, they're trying to survive right now.
Yeah,
We're in a drought.
I was in AFP last 2 weeks ago, and they're dropping leaves in there
Yeah.
big time. So
Yeah, they're turning orange and yellow and dropping already.
yeah, it's just been so darn dry. We, according to the Columbus, they're in a severe drought. We're extremely dry. But you get a little more far north of us, and I was talking about Brian. You know, you get up in Richland County up that way, and they've been getting plenty of rain, or I should say, sufficient rain.
They've been getting rain.
Yeah, they've been getting rain. It's been noticeable, the difference driving through.
Sends them over here.
So I talked to Russ about doing Catherine Street. He and I briefly walked it and explained to him, you know, because of the tree lawns, you know, we don't have a tree lawn, it'll be private property, so we'll see what kind of response we get from that. But the work they did looks really good. And what I noticed, like when Oak Street was done, the concrete contractors just dumped their concrete in the tree lawn and threw dirt over it. And Brian goes in and tries to plant a tree, and it's just full of concrete. This didn't look like that where I saw it. So I'm personally pleased that we aren't going to have that. Even though we aren't going to be able to plant there, at least they did it right. So I'll get with Russ about Catherine Street, and we'll hopefully be adding a few more in there. Okay. So, anything else? Anybody got something they want to add with your work? Yay. I appreciate your efforts. Appreciate them a bunch. Okay, then we have B City on here. Quentin, you want to, does he need to step up to the mic?
What questions do you have for me, I guess?
Well, Quentin and I, we talked about the, last year when we did Hiawatha Park, or this spring when we planted Hiawatha Park, we planted 15 sycamores along the beach along the ditch on Beach Street. And with the idea of turning that area into a pollinator corridor. So Quentin has looked up a few things. We've gone out and surveyed it. And the plan, well, I'll tell you the plan, and then I'll tell you a little more. Talk a little more.
Yeah, so we looked at some different native shrubs to plant in there on the banks to kind of provide a transitional area from the bank down into the ditch itself. So the ones that we kind of landed on were coralberry, sweet shrub, arrowwood, and New Jersey tea, which hopefully we'll be able to get sufficient quantities of here at the end of October, early November.
Is that anything you have access to, Brian?
You can probably source them wherever you find them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is at least one place locally that I know carries them. It'll just be, I'm not certain if they'll have the quantity we need because we're trying to really fill up that area there.
Quentin, are you talking about like the strip between the parking lot, or are you talking more down in the ditch from the sycamores we planted?
We're talking between the trees.
Oh, okay, between the trees.
Yeah, more or less, because they can mow between the trees and the sidewalk if they need to.
And they have to.
Yeah, but getting in between the trees is what I understand is the hardest part because you're in and out, and then
Yeah.
we need to do something about the bank as well because there's no way to mow the bank with the trees being there.
Well, I was going to ask.
Am I wrong about that, Randy? Is that
That's how it is. It's steep enough that it has to be weed eated, basically.
Yeah.
We can arm motor, they want to spray it, which,
I was going to, that's where I was headed, because I sprayed around all of our trees, we planted again to get that down. But I said something to Randy, but I just wanted to check with you. Is it okay if I go ahead and spray that and get it knocked down again? Or do we want to wait? I don't know when you're going to plan on planting.
we'd probably seed it in the fall. I mean, we're going to plant those Doc was saying end of October, early November for the shrubs.
So if I get it, it's, cause everything's really grown now. I mean, you hit
Yeah.
it with some herbicide now and it doesn't take very long, so.
Mhm.
Here within the next couple of weeks, I'll go ahead and get that killed down again. And then that'll give you the window that you need before you seed and everything.
Yeah,
We have 2 weeks between that and the seeding will be fine.
yeah.
Okay.
We really need to get it not just killed, but we need to get the vegetation moved out of the way somehow too, so the seed can make contact with the ground when we do go to seed it.
We talked about if, you know, like you could spray it, get down, and we'd go with the weed eaters and just try to get it as low as we can.
That,
And
do you
then-
still have that DR, that walk behind, that bush hog?
It's not running.
It's soft, okay. They make a couple walk behinds, I mean, it probably wouldn't be more than maybe $100 to rent it. And I could just walk it and knock it and mow it, if you want. And I could mow it and then spray it, and then that should get it.
There actually was weed eating in it today and yesterday.
What's that?
So,
Oh, okay, well, once they get it done, I don't wanna interrupt good work.
Yeah,
I'll let
that's
them go right ahead. They can weed eat it and I'll get it, as soon as it's done, I'll get it sprayed. And then that way, it'll be ready for the seed.
And then we talked about we just have to disturb the soil a little bit so the seeds can get down into the soil, but if we can get the vegetation as short as possible,
Mhm.
then it gives us an opportunity to get the seeds into the soil.
I'm sure it'll be.
Between the weed eating and spraying, there should be some soil
Oh, absolutely.
visible.
I can turn it to
And then, we also have seeds, we had the seeds. Where else was it?
Yeah, we've already purchased the seed to do
Yeah,
that
we
bank.
already
Yep.
purchased.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I didn't put it on here. We'll have to go out to Ariel Foundation Park one day and I'll show you what I'm talking about and then we can get some seeds for that. But they wanted to do a little test plot behind the carpenter shop
Okay.
and a little island in,
Yep.
in the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to go out and look at that and decide what to put there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's possible at Ariel Foundation Park on the West Prairie too. There's some areas that were pretty monoculture. There was a lot of really just mostly Canada goldenrod and then a little bit of thistle in there that we got mowed down and taken care of, but we need to really get something else in there to try to overpower it a little bit. So,
Maybe we need to get some more seeds then.
yeah. But I haven't spoken with Mike Miller to see if Ariel Foundation Park was going to cover that or if they wanted to cost share with the city or how they wanted to do it. So I need to reach out to him and figure out what's going on there.
All right.
I have a flower question. I'm not sure if it's basic or not. So, who and when do we place the order for the daffodil bulbs?
We were
Are
getting
you
to that.
getting to that?
We're
Okay.
gonna get to that.
I'll,
yeah.
I'll wait then. I just was thinking, oh, they
Yeah, we
probably
just
go in
think-
what, October, November planting?
They will plant them in the fall here as soon as, as soon as they ship them. They won't ship them for another 2 to 3 weeks. First Friday's going well. Is there one more?
Yep, there's one left.
One left?
Yep.
All right. Any other Bee City questions? I think a good job, thank you. Let's see if we can firm up some, a good solid estimate on the shrubs.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the daffodils, the Town and Country Garden Club gave us $1,200 for pollinators. The shrubs in the ditch are gonna approximately be $1,100. Okay. The daffodils, John Campbell's willing to plant 1,000, so they can do 1,000. And we can get 1,000 daffodils. It's a mix of, I think there'll be 6 different kind of bulbs in the mix for $360. So the Shade Tree Commission, my opinion, and because I try not to be a dictator, I need an opinion. I think it'd be good money spent from the Shade Tree Commission to make up the difference to fully fund the daffodils and the pollinator shrubs along the ditch. I think that's a good idea too.
So 1,000 bulbs and then however many
45 shrubs.
Okay. Oh, so the things Quentin was talking about, those are actually shrubs,
They're
not.
actually shrubs.
Okay.
$20 to $30 a piece. It was just over $1,000.
The idea was to put, we've got about 15 feet between each tree, so there would A little lower on the ditch would be a shrub that actually gets to maybe like 4 to 6 feet tall, and then back off a little bit to kind of make a V from the tree, or a shrub on each side that get in the 2-foot range. So it'll kind of just fill that area, and then we'll pollen and have seed from there down. So they can still mow along the sidewalk. They could dip in if they felt the need, if we can't get the pollinators up in. And John Campbell's class will plant the daffodil bulbs and the shrubs. He said the shrubs would be late October, early November. The bulbs they can plant those when they come in. And Leo Burpee's who we get them from, and they said it'd probably be 3 weeks at least before they ship.
I have one personal comment on that. I feel like if I plant them too early, the squirrels get a lot of them. So I don't know if it's better to plant them a little later. I'm not an expert, but I have a squirrel issue if I'm putting them in early.
They're into everything. So that will that'll get us a good start on our daffodils and our pollinators there on Beach Street. And the Beach Street will be something that we'll probably return to periodically, just to kind of keep filling it in and getting it in nice shape. And then, unfortunately, it came up after we made up the agenda here. The city put the parking lot on the north end of Hiawatha Park, north of the pavilion on Syker Road. They put in a rain garden to catch the runoff from the parking lot, and it has had not a lot of maintenance since then. It's really overgrown with a lot of weeds. And Quentin and I were talking about it, and we're gonna get an estimate to have, was it TD? Who does the one at CANC?
I think that's fast, isn't it?
It could also be a potential project for probationers too.
Yeah.
Probation office is always looking for
Is it
volunteer
TD
opportunities.
that mows that, and then Fast Eddie's was doing the others? That's TD.
Yeah, okay. Well, we talked about getting a quote from the guys that have done the rain garden to see what they would think about going in there and cleaning it out.
Yeah, that's not a real big one. I mean, that shouldn't be that much of
Getting the stuff out of it and then going from there.
a,
It's been neglected so long, it's gonna take a little bit.
Well, actually, I think it would be good to just go in there and mow it, and rake it, spray it, and then when it's dead, then go in and clean it up and either mulch it. Mulch is big, they use in those a lot. You can mulch, you can gravel, you can use riverstone, whatever. Use riverstone, then we could always, with the appropriate herbicide, treat it 2 or 3 times a year and keep the weeds out of it. Kind of like what they did down at CAC. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just was looking at that the other day when I was out there spraying. I thought, man, I'm just going to spray this. But I didn't. I just thought it'd be, so.
Yeah, ideally we would try to not use any chemical treatment in those ponds because they're supposed to be improving the water quality that they're receiving. So if we were adding any chemical treatment in there.
Well, with the glyphosate, there's only the carryover on that is nil, and it's already EPA approved for waterways and terrestrial life. So, but I understand your point.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't go in the soil, right, the glyphosate?
no, it does not carry.
Well, it was just something that,
It's controversial, frankly. I mean, there's been a lot of research at Ohio State that Roundup buildup can occur in the soils.
okay.
Hasn't been documented.
There's a maximum amount that they recommend treating and spraying. Yes, if you exceed that, then you could have issues. But yeah, you have to.
But if they could go in and dig it out too. or just-
Yeah. Well, it's not very big. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a third of that. So.
But that's something that came up that we're gonna look into, because we need to get that taken care of too. Okay.
At least you can still use Roundup.
Sure.
Hey, Scott, you wanna fill us in on what you've been up to?
Yeah, I don't need those since I left my notes at home. I'll just shoot from the hip. Starting off, all the stakes, wraps, and supports on Sandusky are removed. Belmont are removed. Mulberry is removed, and then all those trees was also pruned lightly as I did those. We did those last week and a little bit the week before. And all the arborvitaes are fine and the stakes are off of them, so we dodged that one, so they're fine. They're a little dry like everything, and we've already kind of touched on it. I've had all kinds of people call me thinking their trees are dying or they're getting ate up with fungus, and they're just stressing right now. So hopefully we'll get some rain. Even if we do get rain, they'll probably continue to look a little stressful. So that's why I'm going to finish up some of the stakes and pruning this coming month, and then October will be the month that we fertilize. By then we should have some rain and some of the stress off the trees, and then they'll still be taken up and storing. So the trees at CA&C, that one does actually look a little bit better that I treated for the gall. Okay. I'm going to treat it again. I can actually treat it 2 more times and not exceed the recommended dosage on that tree by this fall. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. This next time when I do it, I'm going to hit it with some more iron, cleated iron, and manganese to help it get out of that yellowish look. The other trees are responding that I did a drench soil on with the iron and manganese. So they're looking better. They still need probably one more, and I'll probably hit them again in October to do that. What's nice about that, I can use that and mix it with a little bit of fertilizer, and all that does is it stimulates the roots and they'll take it in quicker. And Mr. Wade was gracious enough. He had some supplies that he brought to me, and it's actually going to be, I haven't done it yet because I'm researching it, but you actually drill a small hole and you inject the iron or the insecticide right to the cambium, and then it goes to the canopy, and it's like an IV for the tree. And I'm going to probably put one on the one at Memorial Park, that oak that was real yellow. I treated it, and it's starting to look a little better, but I'm going to put some iron right directly into it. And I'm also this winter going to investigate on getting an apparatus that actually injects a high pressure. So you would actually take and drill just through the bark. You put an insert in it, and then this machine hooks to it like an IV, and then you hit it, and then it treats the tree like you get a shot at the doctor. So, and it gets to it very quick.
Yeah, we're not counting on it getting absorbed up and lost in the soil. And
exactly. Yeah, because when you inject something like that, you're talking about like milliliters, 5, 10, 15 milliliters. Where when I do a soil drench, it's usually right around 3 gallons.
Same material?
Similar, yeah, similar material. Yeah, just different concentrations of it. So I'm working on that. Looked at your 2 trees over on East Chestnut, the maples. They're stressing. They are. So next month I'll be injecting their root bulb with some nutrients and some a little bit of iron and some fertilizer there too. Any of the ones that are stressing, and I was looking at the ones we planted down across from the old Mazas. Of course, they're stressed. That dirt's rough in there anyway, so I'm going to inject those and do a granulated slow feed on them this fall.
Yeah, those were the honey locusts.
Yeah. And I think they'll be fine. It's the ground's dry, and because they're even getting watered still right now. So, was out at Aerial Foundation, did some more treatments on the autumn olive, honeysuckle, and a lot of the poison oak and things like that. The honeysuckle and autumn olive they're so thirsty right now. It's a benefit for them to be thirsty, because it's the autumn olives, the ones I'm finding are 3 foot at the most. In the setback area? Yeah, in the setback area, and then over on west. Okay. I treated them, and then I'm still treating those bigger ones along that, where the woods is, and then where the 50 natives are. There's that walkway through there. I've been working on that some too. Okay. So, and as those go, I'll be cutting them and doing a stump treatment just to make sure we don't have any volunteers come back on that. Okay. I was said on the other side of the invasives, I sprayed the encampment area again where the homeless was, and it's looking good. We're down to just normal weeds. We're not having hardly any honeysuckle come back. A little bit here and there, but it's very easy to treat. I'm going to work my way up the dike, I think, if you want me to. Remember where I started? I'm going to go back and hit some of that again, because I know there was another company that came in and treated. I think the county called me something about they was going to treat something along that might have been the bike trail. That probably was not in the city limits. I told them anything I was doing was city limits, so.
So you're doing up along the lime ponds? Is that when you say up
Yeah,
there?
well, yeah, up along the line ponds, and then I'm also doing the one side of the dike, where they cut a lot of the brush out and stuff, where the autumn olive's starting to come back. I'm hitting it some. And then our old friend, the Japanese knotweed, is coming. He's coming back with a vengeance, and this time he's mad. So we've been treating it. I treated some there along Dyke Road, behind Amvets, as that big patch started coming back, and then by the bridge, and then along the bike trail all the way down to city limits there at Mount Vernon Avenue. So I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I don't think so.
And with
It comes-
all we got going on, forgetting something is not hard.
It's not, especially at this age. I'm just glad I remembered my glasses today. I can actually write and see what I'm writing, so.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so then Randy, you and I talked, he's running the two water pumps on the truck and using an inverter. You want to talk about that a little bit?
It's just the inverter, I'm guessing, is getting weak, so we can't run both pumps. So, I mean, we're still using both hoses, but you gotta have one on and then shut it off and turn the other on. So, just thinking, possibly going with a generator,
Yeah, I think that's what we did before.
electric one though that they can start, a little bigger capacity fuel tank, and it would handle both of them.
Yeah, that way you could just have the guys fill it up in the afternoon when they're done, and
Be ready to go.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And when Randy and I talked about it, he thought it'd probably be in the $3,000 range for that kind of a generator.
Yeah, I wanted to get a better price for us, but I just didn't get time to.
Well, there's stuff right now to get a good price on anything, so.
It's hard to find stuff. So then after talking to you, and then it came up, something that rolled around through my poor little brain, was when we were using the small Honda generator, like the times I did it, I grabbed the generator and put it in the passenger, on the floor in the passenger seat, locked it up and went in and ate my lunch. We've got a $3,000 generator sitting in the back of the bed. We gotta have to come up some way to secure that in the bed, I think, so that it doesn't walk off when they're at lunch or.
Well, this is a lot bigger than your little inverter generator.
Yeah, and they come back for lunch and eat lunch at the shop, so the
Okay.
truck's
Yeah, see, I went out.
they're with the truck all the time, so.
All right. Well, just something that I thought of, and I thought,
Yeah.
man.
Like an 8,000 or something.
I was thinking like a 3,000 Honda.
A Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so loud,
Yeah, it'd be quiet.
gas and key start.
Yeah.
It would be good, yeah.
Okay. Well, he's going to look into that, so it'll be an investment for the water truck for next year, for the next
And
season.
it makes it nice because I can say with just one pump running, that takes an awful long time to do that with so many trees to do.
And with that inverter in the truck, it has 2 batteries on its own, which I think they might be getting weak. The battery in the truck, we've jumped it 3 times this week. I thought I was gonna buy a battery for it today, so, cause leaving it run, you have to leave the truck run with the inverter. With the generator, they could pull up and shut it off if they wanted.
Yeah,
That's probably the original battery, isn't it?
We've
Have you changed it out before?
issues with it before. And,
I know when I was doing it, I had the Honda generator, but with the flashers and everything on, I shut the truck off and went and watered a couple trees and came back and was like, huh.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's-
Don't want to do that. I was surprised how much those LEDs eat up. They eat up a lot of juice.
Yeah, and that truck has so much electronics on it for the plow hookups and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then, we bought 300 water bags this year. We've had some damaged. We're working to get some replaced. Or how are we doing well on bags? Should we be thinking about more for next year? I know you got to pull them and clean them and inspect them, but
With the way we've went through them, I'd really think we're probably going to have more next year. We still got, I'll have to get in a physical count, but we've still got probably close to 100 new ones.
still just if we need them. Good.
But I know they got to running into problems with the last year's just ripping out, you know, no one doing nothing, just they'll go to fill it or move them and they rip. To the most part, most of them are all right now, but we went through some that way also, so.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
I did forget something. Mount Vernon Avenue, you had me go out and check the
Oh
evergreen.
yeah, that trees.
The biggest problem we have out there is the deer grazing on the white pines. That's the biggest problem we have. There are a few aphids on, what are those conifers out there? The Norway, there's actually some, I've seen some aphids on the top, and that's why the tops are looking a little rough. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of spray, this coming week, so, and that should take care of that. But the big one's the deer. There is a dead one, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut and get out of there. It looks like the deer ate on it, but you know, usually it just misshapes them. This one just looked like it had, the whole thing had died back on it, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it, that way you don't see it when you go by it.
You know, yeah, be out of the way.
There's no sense in having a dead tree sitting there waving at you.
The purchase order and everything went through for that bank to be mowed, and I haven't been out there
Yeah.
to see.
Oh, did
Yeah, I
it?
don't know if I've sent it to Mike, might be the only thing. I'll have to check that.
If you would.
Yeah, it was still,
It's still overgrown?
yeah,
Okay. All right.
Just a different area.
thank you, I knew I forgot.
We got the
That's
permission
okay.
to take it up in a different
We're in good shape, because I've just been rambling on. Then on old business, I have the TCP in the West End, but I threw that in under new. Wasn't paying attention. Talked about the water truck, where we are with the pollinators. So, you know, we have Sandusky Street, we've got the West End, we have the TCP project going on. I talked today with Brian Ball. Cougar Drive goes, you know, the back entrance. The west side is the soccer fields. You know, year before last we cleaned all that up, made it real nice. I'd like to put some trees along that Cougar Drive on the west side of Cougar Drive. The east side of Cougar Drive was the RC park, you know, where the guys flew their planes. And I know there's plans sometime along the way to turn that into a parking lot, so they have a place to park when everybody shows up for soccer. But I'm not sure where that's going. But it's okay if we plant trees along the west side of Cougar Drive. So
I just seen them, I drove out by there and they was playing soccer Sunday, and it's like, oh my gosh, they gotta be melting. You seen people's umbrellas and tents up, so that's pretty neat. That trees would be really nice.
yes. Well, the ones we put over in the middle are starting to, you know,
They're looking a lot better, and you know what, we don't have, granted the beetles haven't really had a big hatch yet, but last year, my goodness, those Japanese beetles were just eating everything up, them elms and all that, so, so far,
they don't look to be so bad.
yeah.
So I just thought with what we did to the west, if we do it on both sides of the soccer fields, we give people an opportunity to be out of the sun. Not this year or next year, but in years to come. It's going to be a soccer field for a long time. Soccer's not going to go away. Let's see, we talked about that.
This gentleman wants to join the meeting.
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
Want to have a seat?
This is shade tree, right?
Yeah, this is shade tree, yeah.
No, this is zoning.
Yeah, this is zoning appeal, yeah. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Questions, concerns, thoughts, looking around, seeing something, seeing an area that you think needs more trees, other than what we've kind of got slated?
We talked about,
I knew you would say that.
I still feel that
What
way.
was that? Around the Y?
Yeah, the
The Y and the Living Center,
yes.
both? I
Blocks.
agree. All right, I'll put them on my list. Dane, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, you and we had talked about East Pleasant, maybe doing something next year, trying
Oh.
to get at least a few trees in there.
Yeah, there's like a 2 or 3 block area on the south side of East Pleasant Street.
Yeah.
Was that like between Bond and going west to,
Psycher?
Slaker.
I've been
Braddock.
going east. Okay, we're talking about the south side of the road though, right? South side?
Yeah, there's a 4-foot tree lot there where there's almost no trees for 3 or 4 blocks at least.
Past
Yeah.
the school there.
Pleasant Street,
Yeah, I think
Burgess
east
Street,
of Pleasant Street's
Hamtramck.
cool.
Yeah.
No, we talked about Burgess Street.
Yeah,
They're
well,
all,
well, Burgess and Hamtramck, those are brick streets, and they have in the master plan to go through and redo brick streets, so we've kind of stayed away from those until they get done. You know, maybe a few years. I know, you want it now.
well, it's on my dog walking route. It gets hot out there.
But the Brick Street project, those streets are on the agenda. And as they go through and do a block or 2 at a time, then we'll go back through and replant it.
Oh, I did notice where they're working, is that Noose and Taylor over there where the
Oh, yeah, the Dan Emmett area.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure this fall that I'm gonna go there and maybe try to aerate a little bit when they get out of there.
I saw that. They had piles of gravel and equipment and stuff, and I thought, you didn't hit any of my trees, did you? But
They're close, but I looked. I slowed way down. Yeah, I'll try to get in there and aerate that area just a little bit, just to kind of help the water percolate down through there and stuff. So
Okay.
when they get out, are they gonna? Do you think they'll be done this year?
We had deadline was originally supposed to be August 31st of this year, I believe, or October 31st, but it's been extended a year out, so.
As okay. Well, whatever.
I imagine they'll aim to have everything wrapped up before the winter. As
Yeah.
far as the major construction, the only thing that would be left next year would be some paving.
Well,
I don't think they'll get to all the paving this year.
Well, I'll try to get in there. It's just a small area around that one curve. That spur of oaks we put in like behind the home run fence.
Yeah.
That's where they got everything stored. So I'll try to get in there and aerate some of that this fall and
Okay.
get some stuff in.
And we'll be back. We'll be in that neighborhood next year, then planting trees. What's the timeline for the byway on Mansfield Avenue?
South Sandusky Street,
No, Mansfield Avenue.
I don't know about a byway on Mansfield Avenue.
Well, sidewalk.
The shared use.
Shared use
path.
path.
Shared use path.
Oh.
Okay, that was.
So,
I didn't use the right term. Sorry.
I'm thinking that will most likely go out to bid this fall.
So,
So it'd be a spring project.
be a spring.
probably.
So essentially, that Dan Emmett area will be an area next year that we'll be hitting
Yeah.
with trees.
Don't quote me on that, but I think
Yeah.
that's where we're at right
Okay.
Where do you guys work? Like, what's your occupation?
now.
You guys? Right now, I'm working at the shelving company, and it's not really meaningful to things that I feel are important. Taking care of the city, trees, pollinators, all that, cleaning up the river, that's important. And it looks like you guys are more involved with that than I can be right now. So I just want to know, how can I get involved? That's why I'm here. really.
Okay. Well,
It's the first step right here.
I'm Jim Brown. I'm the chair of the Shade Tree Commission. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. We are volunteers and/or city employees. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Sarah. That's
That's
Laura.
why- That's why
Yes.
I said
That's
do it
confusing.
yourself. Yeah.
I moved back to Mount Vernon a few years ago, having grown up here and left for a long time. And I work for my family's business. So, and I was the recipient of a few trees at my house, and they're lovely. So it seemed important. So I got sucked in. But I feel like it's a interesting and important volunteer position to have. And I do think that air conditioning has ruined people's appreciation of trees if they're not a tree person. So I feel like areas of town where there might have been a lot of nice big old trees don't have them anymore, and so we're trying to get them back. So
Okay.
it's a volunteer position, but if you have the time, and the interest,
Laura, you
Hi,
want to say
Sarah.
something?
I'm Laura. I'm Laura. Hi,
This is a
We're
little
often
inside joke.
confused.
I have a heck of a time with names.
You're not the only one who did that.
I'm not?
I'll tell you later.
I moved here a couple years ago, and I just wanted to get involved in a meaningful way, to make the town a better, prettier, more hospitable place to live.
And she said she wanted to help, and we just said, here. It wasn't quite
Plant
that
some
bad.
trees.
And then you are. You're,
My name is Corbin. I'm last name Corbin Sheeple. I'm 18 years old. I just got out of high school. I'm full-time employed at NCI. That's what I do now. But I'm looking to get out of that and be part-time, something very useful for this community. That's my goal.
okay.
And with my other half of my time, I could volunteer.
Okay.
You're
Well,
definitely in the right place.
yeah, we like volunteers. And we need people that are available during the day to be able to do things and take calls and stuff. So if you're really interested, you should call the mayor's office and make an appointment to talk with the mayor, and he will. No, he's not a bad guy. But he'll talk with you, and if he agrees or believes and you believe that you could be a good fit, then we'll talk again. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Did I answer your question? Do you have more?
What do you guys do full time? Or do you guys have full time? How do you have a house and also? It's a hard thing to balance, I'm finding out.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, what you'll find through your life is, if you want something done, find somebody that's busy, because they'll get it done. Isn't that right, Randy? Is that good? Yeah. If they're busy, they're getting things done. So if you want something done, find someone busy, and they'll help you get it done. And that's kind of, we all have things we do for livelihoods, and then we do this because it's fun.
I'm Scott Zimmerman. I have a small tree business here in town. I also was superintendent of parks, public buildings, lands, and the cemetery. I've tried retiring 3 times, but I continue to. I started this business after I retired from Ariel Foundation Park. When we finished it up, I was out there, and then I just we worked out, because we were so blessed in this community from the amount of grants we get for trees and pollinators and all this stuff, that you need to be a good steward. So, and one of the things of being a good steward is take care of what you're blessed with. So I go around, I treat for insects, I fertilize, I treat for, with herbicide where needed. I do pruning and stuff and trimming if it's not too big. I'm a little long in the tooth to be climbing, and a little too big to be doing it too now. So I call them medium-sized trees, 10, 12-inch trees and down. That gives me enough where I can reach everything and prune it, and I can also inject and stuff. So that's what I do. And then I work for the shade tree, and I also volunteer for them some too. So
That's awesome. Well, if you have any positions opening.
I had many years with employees and stuff, and right now I kind of like it just me, but I'll get your information, and if I have something come up where it's a big job and you have time one evening or something, I'll get a hold of you and teach you some stuff about trimming.
I would love to, Scott.
Nice to meet you.
Randy will need someone to run the water truck next year, so that'd be.
It's true. Yeah.
I was
But
gonna
that's
say, keep your eye open. Keep your eye open for the testing for the city of Mount Vernon, because they have been hiring.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm Zane, that's Quentin, that's Randy. We all work for the city. In the capacity of our jobs, we deal with the trees in the city. I do removals. Quentin does everything else, and Randy's in charge of parks. And so we get to work with the trees for the city. But if you're interested, they post positions within the city quite frequently, and they post those on the city website. They have those. I don't know if they put them on social media and that when they have postings or not. I'm not sure if it's on Indeed or things like that, but I know on the city's website they post them. So definitely look there, and as part of that, you may get to be involved like we are. Yeah, and so that's how we get to do it.
Yeah, it's a process because what they have to do, they go through civil service, so they give a basic exam for maintenance and things like that. You seem like a bright kid, I'm sure you do fine on it. You score on your test, and then, you score, 70 is a pass, of course, but if you higher you score, then you'll get an interview, and then you'll come in and talk to Randy, and hopefully he'll like what he hears, so.
And that's how we get to be here and do that. It's because we're employees of the city. Part of the city are the trees. So,
The
yeah.
important thing is to just get involved in things. So I met the city engineer and kind of got into the shade tree and working for the city both from going to the annual river cleanup events that the county sponsors. So
I just talked to Curtis.
been doing that for about 10 years. Zane met the city engineer at a river symposium as well.
I used to work for the DNR
So
before I came here.
get involved in the things that interest you and volunteer, and people will notice, and then opportunities will eventually present themselves.
Absolutely. Squeaky wheel gets the grease sometimes.
Yeah.
So don't be a nuisance, but make yourself known and meet some people, and you're doing that. So I'd say you're on a good
And
track.
don't expect to make money in the environmental
No,
field.
no. You're gonna do it because you enjoy
You
it.
want to be broke, it's a great place to work.
You want to make a bunch of money going to computers or something.
Yeah.
Well, I see people who work in environmental fields, and although they may be broke, they may be some of the happiest people I'll
There
meet.
you go.
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
all
a-
here
it's a
'cause we
good-
like it.
It's
Yeah.
a good feel. That's a good feel.
Our goal is to leave it a little better than we found it.
I like Doc saying I'm getting the plant trees I'll never get to sit under.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Doc, he's tall.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm old too. Oh.
He didn't want to say that out loud.
Selfless action.
So with Pleasant Street in mind, and knowing that Catherine Street's not gonna be a lot of trees, do you wanna just add Pleasant Street to your list of mailers?
If you think we can do it, let's do it.
I think we can do it.
Yep.
That's cool.
You know where else would be good is on Coshocton, right where the little park is at Lake Division.
They won't let us plant anything there.
Nope.
Oh,
That
Division,
open lot,
oh.
That open lot, you know,
Oh,
where there
where
was
they
like
just tore down that little old gas
Yeah.
station. That's not city
That-
property, is it?
I don't know who owns that.
No, that's private, but I bet you Tom Collier knows, because Exchange Club used to cook pork chops and sell them every now and then
'Cause that is,
there. Yeah, I know they
Where
just,
are we talking?
Yeah, it's
right
just,
on
Vacant.
certified station.
No, we're talking next to the eye care place, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
the eye
yeah.
care place.
it was an
and
old
the
certified
park.
station.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's too young.
We used to tie our horses up there and get kerosene for the lights.
I don't remember that being certified. I remember a lot of certifieds, but not that one.
When I was a kid.
Just the highest
Oh, when
station.
you were
was
a kid.
across the
Oh,
street.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I read it in a book.
Yeah.
It was
They had books.
yeah, they just cleaned that up and seeded all that, because
I was surprised to see it go. It was like, yeah.
that's where I always parked my trailer, my spray truck. It was all.
So yeah, that would be a nice place. But
We can check the auditor's site, see who owns it. If it's someone we can get in contact with, we can see what we can
Yeah.
do.
I'm open to that.
It's got fresh topsoil in it.
It might be the
They
land
took everything.
bank actually that owns it.
Could be.
Yeah.
They're usually sure for sale.
We'll dig into it.
You
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's
I might
the
send you an email
Chester
just so I know
Schrock
exactly
where
what.
they're
Yeah.
going?
Yeah,
On the
okay,
other
yeah,
side
I'll
of
make a
it.
note of
Yeah,
that.
you go on the east side of Chester Schrock, right there before the brick eye place. That little place right there.
Across from Flynn's.
Yeah, across
right
from
across
Flynn's.
from Flynn's.
It was like a thrift store for a little
Yeah.
while recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Well, we've been doing this a long darn time, and this afternoon, this little bit we had here makes me think of the basement. We used to meet in the
have a lot of
basement.
talks down there.
We used to sit in the basement and talk about trees and what we were going to do, and it was a lot of fun. Not that it isn't fun meeting up here and doing this, but it kind of brought back some memories for me. So, okay, we are close to 4 o'clock.
There's one last thing I'd like to squeeze in.
Sure.
So Riverside Park, off of Dyke Road, it's like my favorite place to go in Mount Vernon. I go there all the time. I go there and I pick up the trash I find. It's like my little thing that I do. It's been awesome, especially when I was unemployed. I do it almost every day. And recently I noticed that there's just a lot of trash that doesn't get picked up by the onion bags, which there was a 3-month period that the onion bags didn't make it there. So I think it would be a cool idea to maybe place a trash can there. Like maybe one that's not very well movable or something like that. Maybe not something people would want to dump stuff into.
Well, actually, we tried that, and with that being on the backside of there, down where no one can see it, if you set any type of receptacle there, they take that as, we can dump everything here,
Yeah.
tires, what have you, so that's why there's not one there now. So, I mean, I like the idea, but it didn't work out, so.
They're just awful.
Yeah, that's, you'll learn.
Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good. You know, oh, yes.
I just wanted to make a comment about
Sure.
the thistle invasion of some of these attempted prairie gardens. We had thistle at the Arboretum for a long time. We didn't know how to deal with it, but there are products out there that will kill thistle and not harm other plants, such as transline or cilantro. And of course, if you have any legumes with Baptisia or Amorpha, lead plant, anything in the legume family, you have to be very careful not to use it. Red buds would also be, around them would be typical, or even honey oils. But it's good for things other than that, and it's tremendously effective on this. 1 or 2 applications.
What was the first one you said?
Transit.
Translate.
And you only use about a quarter cup per 4 gallon, or not a quarter cup, about a quarter of a teaspoon for a gallon. So it's used in very small quantities, even though it's an expensive product to purchase. It goes a long way. A pint goes a long way.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm just.
That's the guy. He's
yeah,
the guy that does it.
We haven't been out much since, but we got really lucky that we got out to basically snip off the teasel, which is the thistle I'm referring to primarily.
Oh,
Those that are burdock. But yeah, so that we were just cutting off the buds, but right before they went to seed, and then the Canada goldenrod had just not started going to flower yet, so we got out there to get that mowed down before it started to flower too.
Yeah.
So hopefully that sets it back a lot there
Oh, it
mechanically.
will.
Just
I thought
after
you were
put all
referring
those-
specifically to thistle.
no, not
Oh,
this
okay.
area. Yeah.
But it does have an effect on other broadleaves too, but it's primarily useful on thistle. It's tremendously useful.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And the other comment I wanted to make is what percentage of your street tree plantings are coniferous?
None.
None.
No.
None. By design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, they don't show symptoms of drought till they're dead.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to give them late watering, for sure, if it's dry. And I'm not optimistic about October being rainy. Last October, we didn't get rain. We had 90 degrees, but we didn't get rain. Maybe one event, that was it.
Well, we
So I
water.
think this is the new normal, these
Yeah.
drought periods. That's my opinion.
That-
And it's very difficult to grow plants without water.
I've been reading things along that line myself. So
Yeah.
we water trees through October, right? When are they going to start pulling bags?
We did extend our watering period this year. Yeah.
Yeah, added
Yeah.
on.
Can't give them too much water. Every physiological process depends on water in
Oh,
plants, so.
with that in mind, our TCP sign-up list, I think, says through September. Since we extended the contract into October, we probably want to update homeowners to extend into October as well, because it says September.
Send them emails and say, fill the bags until we take them away.
For the TCP ones.
Yeah, for last
That or
year's
you
TCP.
just wanna tell them to water them, and if need be, I'll pull them. I don't care, when I'm out doing prunings, trimmings.
Well, Randy's crew goes and
We can
they
do
pull
that
them
in
and clean.
October, yeah.
Oh, okay, you're good.
We
Yeah,
just
they-
normally tell them that we'll do it through September, and then we'll pick them up at the end of September or early October.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they're gonna pull the TCPs as well?
Yeah,
The
they-
girls, yeah. If they had time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Typically, they pull them, clean them up, inspect them, make sure we know what we got, get a good count of where we are for the next year.
They've done a really nice job of cleaning them up, folding them up, and taking
I see them all over town.
I've been seeing them, and their work, you got two good workers. They're conscientious, like I said.
Get them there every day.
Well, you can only dip the nose of the kitten in the milk once in a while. You can't always go.
All right.
We're back to, I don't have employees.
One other thing.
Because I know it's 4 o'clock, we gotta go, but, on species which are particularly sensitive to high pH, and this county doesn't have a high pH typically, unless you're dealing with concrete and asphalt, and that's presumably where your pin oaks are having issues. So when those conductive root tips are hitting the asphalt and concrete, pH can be extremely high, and but the effect of that manganese or iron chlorosis, in case pin oak is iron, but in the case of maples it would be manganese. You could treat those, but the effect is short term. All the research that's been done at Morton Arboretum has shown that they just can't grow red maple in areas where there are high pH or pin oaks, because the effect of treating them is only several months, or if that, and then they revert and show the chlorotic symptoms again. So as a result of that, you want to choose species which are tolerant of that, and in this case choosing X. freemonii maples, which has silver maple in it, would be a much better street tree than straight red maple for base areas where this can happen. And then other species of oak, like maybe Quercus prenus or Muhlenbergii, or even Quercus bicolor, would be much better than pin oak, although people seem to be in love with pin oak here.
We don't do a lot of pin oak with our plantings.
Yeah, you
And
probably won't.
we do few red maples, but
Well, I'm just giving you some ideas is to try to prevent that kind of treatment perhaps.
Yeah, so we don't have to do more treatment
It's
in the
very
future.
labor intensive. There is a benefit, of course, of injecting materials in the soil like that. You're reducing soil compaction when you're doing that as well. And that's always a benefit.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I would make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in
That was
favor?
More than Sarah.
Aye.
Yeah, Laura and then Sarah.
Good,
Yeah,
good
you're
job,
welcome.
Scott.